Welcome to Let's Talk. Hi everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Judy here. If you don't know, I'm an average person, but I don't worship billionaires, nor do I love dictators. I fight for freedom and human rights, and I upload weekly to this series which talks about history, culture, economics, and more. My friends, before we dive into today's topic, please allow me to thank the friends who bought me coffee from my website last week. Thank you so much for your kind support, my friends. Thank you. My friends, in recent years, I've heard so many people using nuclear war and its allegedly catastrophic effects to make people live in fear. But if you know enough knowledge of physics, you'll know that nuclear wars are not like those people have been telling you. Why? Well, when a nuclear bomb blasts, it releases huge amount of explosive energy, and the temperatures reaches a very high level. It means that almost all the harmful radiation in the nuclear bomb will be gone with the blast or will be burned out in seconds or minutes after the explosion. Which was why when America dropped the nuclear bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima on August 6, 2 days later, its railway line could be reopened, and 3 days later, streetcar operations could be resumed in one section. Yeah, my friends, nuclear bombs are different from nuclear power plants. So don't be tricked by the people who tell you that nuclear bombs and nuclear power plants have the same environmental effects, because they don't. However, it's true that nuclear bombs kill people more than other weapons. I don't want to see any stupid leaders using nuclear weapons in any war. I want to see a peaceful world. I want people to live happy and peaceful lives. To be specific, I want ordinary people to live the happy lives they deserve, because I'm an average person and I don't like any doctrines. I believe that doctrines are just tools for the ruling class to control people's minds. And in my opinion, the ruling class force our children, ordinary people's children, to read their doctrines. For this very reason, they ban the books that can open our children's minds and change their lives. So, as I've said many times in my previous videos, if I have to believe in something, I believe in myself and candyism, which doesn't exist, because Candy was my late dog. Anyway, this is just my personal opinion. I'm sure you've your own thoughts. You can agree with me on this or not. It's up to you. But no matter what, my friends, be careful. Don't let them trick you by using doctrines or fake knowledge. Also, like I've said many times, educate yourself by learning real knowledge in order to protect yourself from those layers. Last week, I talked about nuclear weapons and what will really happen when they explode. If you've already watched it, you'd know it's not like some people have been telling you. As I said in that video, those people either don't know physics or simply want to use fake knowledge to make other people live in fear in order to easily manipulate them. But if you're a new fan and you haven't watched it, please check his link in the description or comment. Okay, let's dive into today's topic, shall we? So, we're gonna talk about whether Putin will or will not launch a nuclear war, which might lead to World War III. In my opinion, the answer is never. Yeah, I know. Many people, especially some evil politicians, have been telling people that Putin is so stupid that they'll launch a nuclear war. Putin himself has also warned about it. It makes sense that Putin issues those warnings because he wants to intimidate the people in other countries. It also makes sense that evil politicians tell their own people that Putin will launch a nuclear war, that the Third World War will happen, since they want to use fear to manipulate people. But I say, come, Putin is not that stupid. You know, my friends, according to some media outlets' reports, he has two daughters with his ex-wife and may have two sons with one mistress and a girl from another rumored affair. If he were to launch a nuclear war, his children wouldn't live well. Of course, I don't think they would be killed, but I think their property might be confiscated, since some of them live in Western countries. So they might live poorly if their father were to do such stupid thing. Putin is no fool. He knows that if he were to drop nuclear bombs on other countries, they will do the same to Russia. He knows that nuclear wars hurt both sides. Yep, Putin knows it, and he will never want to rule over a post-nuclear war country. Besides, the Russians would overthrow him if this kind of thing were to happen. Putin loves power. He will never want that. What do you think, my friends? Do you think Putin is an idiot? Do you think he's so stupid that he'll ruin his own life and the lives of his children? My friends, as you know, I always say that as human beings, we should learn enough knowledge in order to possess the ability to think independently. Why? Well, think about it. If you can think independently, you wouldn't be ruled by so many stupid theories. If you can think independently, you wouldn't be easily believe people's lies, and you might truly understand the real world. Yeah, you might say you've lived long enough to know the world. But frankly, no, you don't. You don't know the real world, because if you know, you will never say you know enough. For example, what do you think of monogamy? I believe that you are taught that monogamy protects women, that monogamy is the gold standard, and anything that strays from it is problematic, right? So, do you think is protecting women or men. If you don't educate yourself, if you don't learn more things about it, you might think monogamy protects women, right? But in reality, it protects men. Yeah, you heard me right. Monogamy protects men. Why do I say that? Well, you know polygynous, right? Yes, just like in the monkey society and the society of lion. A polygyny marriage in the world of humans, two or more women share one husband. So, my friends, imagine a polygynous society. There are hundreds of average men, while only dozens of men at the top. And the men at the top can have as many women as they want. On the other hand, average men have less chance to get married than have children. And very sadly, so many of these men admire the men at the top and believe that their own miserable reality is God's will. These men worship billionaires and love dictators. Yeah, they are mentally weak. They hope that someday they can also possess so many beautiful women and money by worshipping those so-called supermen. However, in a monogamous society, a person, even the ones at the top, is allowed to be legally married to only one spouse at one time. In this case, an ordinary man has more chance to get married. See, monogamy protects men, not women. Though they teach us that monogamy protects women, so being able to think independently is important. And I believe you're smart enough to know that possessing enough knowledge gives you the ability to think independently. Okay, my friends, in case you don't know me yet, I'm Judy Fay London, a fan of Jack London. I'm a published writer who writes fiction and non-fiction novels and short stories. You're very welcome to visit my website, judyfaylondon.com or Amazon to read my poems and my short stories. The last one, Mr. Rod, Candy the dog, and so on, and my latest non-fiction book, Living with the Walking Dead, a roadmap for achieving your own success. I hope to see you there, and I thank you so much for your kind support, and thank you very much for subscribing to my YouTube channels, Judy Fay London and Judy Plus. Judy Fay London is a comprehensive channel, while Judy Plus is a channel that talks about interesting discoveries in the world of science. Thank you for watching. And my friends, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. Thank you.